That's Retro Fandango. That's Retro Fandango. When it's Android over iPhone, and you can keep your stupid amiibo and always bashing on Nintendo. Well, that's Retro Fandango. That's Retro Fandango. Thanks, Retro Fandango. Wow.
Hello. Welcome everyone to Retro Fandango episode number 235. I'm here, Kevin. I'm here with Richard. We're going to talk about stuff.
Apparently, Batman took forever.
Oh my goodness. We'll get to that.
Is that you or me?
No, that's me.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're ever going to talk about. I have a vague idea sometimes because you'll send me something like a message or something, but when it comes to titling,
you know what?
the show,
You know what I'm going to talk about today is I am going to first start by saying that I am honored that I was able to take up some of your Saturday.
Oh,
Normally, you the social butterfly these days,
yes,
man about town. You've got stuff going on.
I normally do, but
it could be a D&D convention or a bad movie or
record show, game night, all sorts of things. But not this Saturday because I was out late last Saturday. I'm really tired, so I'm going to be slurring my words as if I'm drunk because I was out late last night. We went to the town of North Bay, which is a 2-hour drive from my house, and we saw the band Big Sugar perform at the Capitol Center.
All right, you got to explain this to me because you told me several days ago, and I had plenty of opportunities to look it up, but I didn't. What is a Big Sugar?
Well, Big Sugar is a band. They are they started out as a blues band. They're a Canadian. The lead core of the group is a guy named Gordie Johnson, and he was born out of Winnipeg, I believe. And they started out as a blues band in the 90s, and then they kind of morphed into a reggae group. And they've been around, since the early 90s. The big event, because they've kind of come and gone a little bit. They had a couple of hiatuses and that, but this was a bit of a comeback for them because the pandemic kind of threw a wrench in a lot of their plans. They had an album that came out in 2020 that they weren't able to promote. So they had kind of been off the scene for the last few years, but the big comeback, the motivator for the big comeback was that one of their early albums called 500 Pounds was being pressed by Jack White's Third Man Records label. And this is a highly influential blues album that Jack White himself has said is the best blues album to come out of Canada. And if you were to go into your Spotify or whatever streaming and you type in Big Sugar 500 Pounds and start listening to that album, you could definitely hear the White Stripes influence, or how White Stripes took influence from Big Sugar and incorporated into their little combo. So it got this repressing. The repressing was back in February. It sold out before it even was pressed. It was all the pre-orders sold it out. So he actually he lives in Texas now, and he drove up from Texas to North Bay, Ontario, and he made a pit stop in Detroit to actually pick up the second pressings of this album to bring it to the show so he could sell it at the show. And do you think I bought one? Do you think I bought a copy of this album?
Well, you're reaching down for something. People can hear you going off mic.
I might be reaching down for something, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, of course I bought a copy. I got myself
there you go.
This Big Sugar 500 Pounds. This isn't the look of the CD that I bought back in the day. It had a little different, more dated cover, so I guess they updated it a little bit. I guess I could have grabbed it to show you the difference, but anyways, yeah.
Take your word for it.
very, very cool show. So they played that album in its entirety. They did 2 sets. They played that album in its entirety and took about a 15-minute break, and then came back and did practically an entire set. The entire show was 3 hours long. And normally, these bands go for about an hour and a half. Sometimes they might stretch it to 2, but no, they went a full 3 hours with just the 15-minute break. And it was bluesy. We had the reggae. We had the hits that you hear on the Canadian radio all the time. It was really a really good show. It was excellent. And they're looking to have more dates, to put up more dates. So, if you hear about the Big Sugar coming to your town and the 500 Pounds album and that, go buy tickets. You'll have yourself a good time.
I don't think they're coming to my town.
They're probably not coming to Japan. No. But I'm sure they'll do some shows in the States, because, like a lot of Canadian bands, they're not big on the mainstream level, but a lot of them do well in pockets of the United States, and they go down there and tour all the time. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
All right.
So you went to that concert. They went long, and then you had a 2-hour drive back?
Yeah. So we got out of there at 11 o'clock. And so then we so it's only, the venue only holds about 1,000 people. So it's not like, it wasn't, crazy Southern Ontario. How are we going to get on the Gardner? How are we going to get on the DVP? There's suddenly 50,000 people, trying to get somewhere. So it wasn't that crazy. But, ever since the pandemic, like back prior to the pandemic, everything was open 24 hours. Didn't matter. Like, you can go to a Tim Hortons at 11 o'clock at night. You're going to get served. You can get a coffee, a donut, whatever the hell you want. Now it's like, it's totally random on whether or not places are open or not. I don't know if it has to do with staffing. I don't know. They don't update Google. So after the show, we needed a place to go to the bathroom, because their bathroom facilities there were very minute compared. Like, it didn't really suit the needs of the place. So we just let's just go to Tim Hortons and we'll use the washroom. And I knew where there was one Tim Hortons in North Bay, but it was a little bit out of our way. But I'm like, I don't mind. I know where that Tim Hortons is. It's safe. We'll go there. Sarah's like, no, we'll go to this one. It's kind of on the way. We'll go to this one. So I'm like, okay, fine. So we go to this Tim Hortons, and we get there, and of course it is closed. So then McDonald's is in the same lot, even though on Google it said it was open. It was closed. So, but there was a McDonald's in the same lot, and there was people there. So we go to the McDonald's. So it was myself, Sarah, and my buddy Frank that went to the show. And we get into the McDonald's, and Frank and I go into the washroom, and there's like one of those child urinals that's only like 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah, all right.
And then like a regular urinal. So like, well, which one are we going to use? Well, that's okay. One of us will use the stall. No problem, right? Well, there's a guy.
Just double up.
We're not Sal and Richard on the Howard Stern show. We're not going to cross streams. I don't know. Just our relationship hasn't taken that step yet. So we go. So one of us is going to use the stall. So Frank's like, I'll use the stall. I'm like, okay, go ahead. So we see that, under, the stall door only goes down so far, and we could see that there's somebody in there. So Frank's like standing there waiting, and I go to use the washroom, but it's weird. The guy's like standing in the corner away from the toilet. So I'm kind of like, I'm at the urinal, and I could kind of like, I didn't really want to look in that much, but it was just very odd behavior. So I had to like, kind of like peek in between the crack there. And I'm like, what's going on in there?
Oh no, you're a pervert.
And the guy was standing in the corner, and then he would walk up to the toilet, puke, and then go back to his corner and then just stand there. And so my bladder went like it like everything just stopped, right? Because I was just like, oh, this is freaking me out. So I zipped up, and I'm like, Frank, you go ahead to the washroom. I wash my hands and get out of there. Go to order some stuff and that. And like my bladder only like maybe 1/3 of the way emptied. I still had a bunch of pee in there. So I'm like, okay, now that Frank's out of there, I'm like, okay, I got to go back in there. So I go back in, and that guy is still standing in the corner of that stall. So then I go to the washroom a second time, and I empty myself completely because now I don't care. Like this guy is just, he's just standing in the corner of the stall, and we got out of there, but only
Oh man.
at a McDonald's in North Bay at 11 p.m. can you experience such things.
I don't know if it has anything to do with North Bay. It's more that time. If you go to a
Oh, do you,
McDonald's at anywhere at
yeah,
like what was it, midnight, 2 in the morning? What was this?
it was 11 p.m. Like it was after
11
the show.
p.m.
So let's say like quarter after 11 by the time we got there. And yeah,
Oh man, I wouldn't have been able to go back in there. Like
I had to.
I know there's already stuff flying around in every
Yeah.
public bathroom,
Yeah.
but when somebody's like projectile vomiting, that stuff's going up in the air. He's getting that
I
splatter
I had
back.
to because like everything was cramping up, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get rid of this because from where that McDonald's is, once you leave, like if we were to just leave North Bay, there's nothing there until you get to Sturgeon Falls, which is about a half an hour away, and I didn't want to have to stop again and all that.
There are trees. There are trees outside.
I
There's got to
suppose,
be
but
somewhere you could pull over.
look, it's Northern Ontario. It's March. It's the weather's not the best. You could either be like yesterday, or let's say Thursday, it was like +10. You go walk. We didn't even need coats. You're just walking with a sweater on, and the sun is on you, and you got the sunglasses on. Let's walk down to the coffee shop and go get a coffee because it's so nice out, and walk back all comfortable. It's all good. Then yesterday, it was like one of those. It was 0 degrees, or it was supposed to be just above freezing. And then, I'm looking at the weather, and the weather's saying, oh, it's gonna be like, it's going to be dry. It's going to be a very dry day. We get to North Bay, it's friggin' snowing. It's -5. It's snowing. I only have my sweater and my toque. It's not good times. And then today, we got home and we didn't want to park the car in the garage because you have to back it into the garage, and we're just tired. We'll do it in the morning. So I get up, and the snow is starting to accumulate on the car. It's like piling up on there. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be such a pain in the ass to get the car in the garage with all this snow on it now. I had to wake Sarah up. It just, this time of year, it's not good times for the weather. Anyways, we get back. We dropped off Frank. Frank is like maybe 20 minutes from our place, right? But he's on the way to North Bay, so we drop him off, and then we carry on. We continue back home, and while I was at Frank's, I opened up the trunk and we were exchanging Blu-rays and that because we had bought some Blu-rays and DVDs, and I'm like, I want that in my collection, but he wanted to watch that movie, and he wanted this in his collection, but I wanted to watch that movie. So we were like exchanging stuff and all that stuff. And then he goes into his house, get in my car, start driving home. And Sarah's phone starts ringing, and it's Frank. It's Frank Collins. And it's like, okay, well, what did he forget? So Sarah's like, hello? And I'm like, what's going on? She says, Frank forgot his phone. He forgot his phone? How is he calling you right now?
Right.
So he had to grab his Google Chromebook and call Sarah on Facebook Messenger.
Ah, okay.
So we were about, halfway home, about 10 minutes home. So we had to circle back to bring him back his phone. So yeah, we didn't get home until like, I don't know, 20 after 1 or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, you started this whole trip at your normal bedtime.
Yeah. Like I got up at 7, but I slept a full 8 hours, straight through the night. So I was good. I was good. I was in like old school shift work mode. You sleep for 8 hours and then you just you go all day, and then you try to take a nap maybe during the day, but then you just go an entire overnight shift.
So you haven't reached the point where you start dozing off at these concerts yet?
No.
Okay.
No, that was compared to like down south, like the stress level of getting into the venue and all that stuff, up here it's like it's not bad at all, you know. It's almost easy street.
Gotcha.
As Steven says, it's supposed to be 15 degrees where he is today in Vancouver, where they're always a little warmer than we are. But Ontario, yeah, it's always a bit of a mess this time of year.
When does it start getting decent? Like April, May?
It depends. It might be April. I remember last year I went for that. I went with a run in the truck, and we drove up like an hour north of us, and like at where I was, it was fine. We drove an hour north, and it was just snowstorm, and that was May 1st of last year. So it's totally random.
Gotcha.
No snow in Thunder Bay. Yeah, we have a little bit. Like it's just accumulating a little bit. But yeah, there you go. So Richard, when Big Sugar comes to your town,
yeah,
hit them up. Go
and
for
then
it.
I'll go puke in a McDonald's.
Yeah,
complete experience.
I'm guessing that guy wasn't at the Big Sugar show. I think he was at like one of them pubs or something like that. But he had to start early, right? It was only 11 p.m. Don't those guys like 2 a.m.? That's when they start puking. 3 a.m.
Depends on how much McDonald's you ate.
I see.
Did you eat something at McDonald's?
I had a muffin. I had a coffee and a muffin.
A muffin? They
got muffins now. Yeah, they got muffins.
Really?
Yeah. Their coffee's good. It's actually better than Tim Hortons. I don't mind their coffee at all. Yeah. There you go.
If I could be an old man for a second, I was at a McDonald's yesterday.
Were you puking in a stall?
I was not. I just had some chicken nuggets and a couple of French fries.
How are the chicken nuggets there?
I don't mind them. I don't mind them, and it's actually like a I don't know. It wasn't like a meal; it was a holdover because it was like I didn't really eat lunch, and then or a little ways from dinner, we're walking by, so just get that. But boy, I feel like an old man every time I go into one of those fast food places now because the olden days, you had the nice menu right up above the counter there, and it was like a physical menu. They put little tags up there, said, "Hey, here's the item, here's the price," and it stayed there. You could just look at it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they got the fancy screens behind the counter. And it's like a constant commercial. They're constantly flipping over. It's like, oh, look at this cheeseburger. Ooh, slide back to the menu. Okay, there's the thing. I'm looking. The boom, it starts animating again, and constant movement. I can't keep track of anything. And the only other place they have a menu is right there on the counter. So you have to be up at the register in order to be able to see it. You can't stand back, think about it, and then go get online.
Oh wow. They have them, so they have them on the counter.
There's a menu on the counter, so you can walk up and then stand there awkwardly while you're staring at it, trying to, find what you want. And the person's just standing there, people behind you waiting.
Do they have the kiosks there?
Kiosk?
Yeah, here all the McDonald's have kiosks. So you go up and you go to a machine and you punch in.
They did that, huh?
Yeah, and
no, we don't have that yet. But the last time I went to the movies, I was surprised they had that as the standard now. So you don't even have to talk to a person.
Yep.
When you go buy your movie tickets, you just on the machine. But the McDonald's also has the like you could do it on your phone. You can just order on your phone, and then I guess I know they have something at the tables where every table has like a little QR code, and you can just like scan, say, "Oh, you know what? I want an ice cream cone now." You can scan the table, order it online. They'll just bring it up to your table now.
Oh wow,
it's kind of like reverting back to the old style where you'd pull up to the car and you have the little the little ordery thingy. And they skate out.
Yeah. No, here they have the kiosks. The McDonald's we went to last night, they had a person behind the counter, so you can order food from someone at a counter. But the one in Perry Sound, when we go down to Toronto, we'll usually stop in the one at Perry Sound because normally it's the only thing open, and just get a coffee and a muffin or whatever. But at that one, you have to ask, if you don't want to use a kiosk, you have to ask somebody, like, hey, flag somebody, can I order? And they'll like, okay, we'll be with you in a minute, kind of thing. There's not somebody there waiting at the register for somebody to take your order.
Customer service is gone. They don't want to interact with you in any way.
And it takes a long time. Like I didn't go to McDonald's a lot when I was a kid, but Sarah did, and she said like you used to go into McDonald's and you get your food within like minutes, right? Like 5 minutes, boom, there's all your meal, and everyone's sitting and eating. Now it takes them a while to make the stuff. I don't know if they make everything to order now or what, but they don't.
No, that was
under the
their
heat lamp.
whole business idea of like fast food.
Right?
That's what
Yeah,
it was.
it's not so fast
I
anymore.
recently watched that the Michael Keaton movie Founder,
That's a good
where he
movie.
plays that was pretty good, and they go through the whole thing of like, yeah, the food's just here, just go up to the counter, it's there, go
Right?
get it, you're
Yeah.
eating in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Look at that. I had no idea what we were going to talk about, and here we are, 20 minutes in. Filled it.
Yeah.
Good work.
Steven saying our McDonald's will let you take a number to your table and have them bring the food to you if you're feeling extra lazy. That's the standard here. They give you a little something. Say,
Yeah.
hey, go sit down, relax. We'll bring it to you.
I've seen that, but I've actually haven't ate at a McDonald's in I don't know how long. Like normally, like I only go in there, get a coffee and a muffin or something like that, and then I'm on my way. I don't like I haven't had. I think we got hash browns and their breakfast thing one time, but we ate it in the car. We were on the road, so.
Yeah, I gave up McDonald's for a long time, but then the one closest to us, they knocked it down, they rebuilt it, put up a whole new fancy building and everything. And they did that, I don't know, like, so I guess like 5-6 months ago.
Yeah.
And since then, for whatever reason, I've been to McDonald's more in the past couple of months than I have been in like a decade.
Well, you got kids. Kids love the McDonald's, right?
Now, but we don't take them to McDonald's that
No?
often. It was like always a very rare thing because we didn't want to meet them eating junk food all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, here and there we'll go, but
it is funny how McDonald's has kind of changed its entire presentation, right? Because you used to go in there, and like when we were kids, like there was a lot of it felt very marketed to kids, right? Very kid friendly.
yeah,
And now it feels more like a cafe,
yeah, exactly.
You
Well,
can tell that
everything.
they're marketing to our generation still. Like they don't market to kids as much anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've noticed they really don't use the mascots. There's a Ronald McDonald statue outside. There's like a bench, and he's sitting on it, so you can get your picture with him. But inside, there's no like character of
No.
any kind. No Grimace or Ronald or whatever. I've noticed on their screens they have this other character, like some kind of a pencil sketch character that I don't know if it has a name or whatever. And that's the only thing I saw. Everything else, everybody's going like the Apple route where it's just very minimal, just kind of keep it sleek, modern cafe.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to mention too, before the show, we went to a place so like North Bay. Sarah and I have our usual haunts. We because we both went to college there, and we would go to the Loose Moose Change Lodge for chicken wings, or we
Okay.
would go to Greco's Pizza downtown. But I don't really eat chicken wings anymore since the whole high cholesterol thing and all that. The doctor said, you really shouldn't eat chicken wings. So we don't really go there anymore. And then Greco's Pizza, we really wanted a diner, kind of getting like we've had pizza a little too much. So we wanted to go to a diner. So there was a diner called, or it is still there. It's called Hoagie's. But they close at 2 p.m. They do the breakfast and the lunch, and that's it. Close at 2 p.m. And even they're kind of going a little bit downhill a little bit. Like it's you start getting instead of like the actual chicken or turkey, you just get like the sliced deli meat kind of thing. You know, you order
Right.
a roast
Processed
beef.
meats.
I don't know if it's processed, but it's like sliced deli meat. You know, like instead of a roast beef, you get like just deli meat. You know what I mean? Or
Okay.
I guess it is processed. It might be like a turkey roll or whatever. Anyways, there's this place up on Airport Road in North Bay, and they've been there since I got dyslexia. So it's either 1945 or 1954, one of the others. They've been there for a long time, anyways.
Mhm.
And I've always heard that good things about it, but and they were open to like 8 or 9. So it was 4:30. And I'm like, let's go there. Let's finally go to this place. We went there. Food was fantastic, man. It is a diner. It is a little awkward to order food there because you do like it's not like I like sitting down at a table and everything comes to me, like the waiter or waitress brings you the coffee and brings you all the things.
Right.
This is kind of like I guess Ponderosa style or whatever. You go up and you give them your order, you tell them everything that you want, and then they'll give you your drinks, and then you go find a seat and you put the kind of like McDonald's, you put the tag there, your number there, and then they'll come and find you once the food is ready, which is okay. But like, you know, for instance, Sarah ordered an appetizer, so they bring everything out all at the same time, right? You don't get like
Okay.
ahead of time. So it's kind of, but the food was excellent. The food was so good. Fries were fresh. Really, like I don't usually get gravy with things, but they're great. Their gravy, I could smell it when I walked in. I'm like, you know what? I'll get me some of that. So I got a hot hamburger sandwich, and the patty was like, you could tell the guy like slapped it together, you know, kind of thing. It wasn't like a frozen deal.
Okay. Gravy, fries,
Yeah, I know.
burger. Weren't you just talking about cholesterol and how you don't eat chicken wings?
Listen, this was my cheat day, okay? But apparently the worst things to have are chicken wings. And it's worse than a steak or a hamburger. I
Was
don't know
it
if
the skin?
the chicken skin.
Mm.
This is what my doctor told me, anyways. Then he said the next thing is the fried potatoes. So I probably shouldn't have had like, you know, any sort of potatoes, French fries, potato chips, whatever. So I probably shouldn't have had the French fries. But and then what was I can't remember the third thing. I can't remember what it was. Anyways, those were the top two, anyways, not to have. Anyway, but Frank had a clubhouse, and you know, like you could see like the chunks of chicken in there and that. And Sarah she got fish and chips. My God, the fish and chips was just like it was piled
It's
on
a
there.
mountain. Yeah.
2 big things of fish on there. She couldn't finish it. I'm like, you didn't need the appetizer. You had enough food there, but man, it was
Oh, that's the
tasty.
biggest scam. Like you can like the appetizers they give out in some of these places, that can be a full meal right there.
I know. But Sarah's got like with her eyes are bigger than her stomach. She always orders too much
Mhm.
food. You get it, you know, just get one thing. You don't need to get everything there. If you want something, the next time we come, you can get to something else. You don't need everything. Anyways, yeah. Come on, Steven. Come over here and we'll go to North Bay, and we'll go to Ivan's in North Bay and get some food. It was good times. Anyways, I can't remember what the heck I was going to talk about. That's it.
I mean,
That was
that's
yesterday.
it. It's like there's nothing better than just go getting some food.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was nice. Oh, we did go to a record store in North Bay, but they were really overpriced, so I ended up not buying anything there. I did buy a book.
What were the movies you were dishing out in your trunk?
Oh, okay. So let's see. What did I get? Oh, I actually didn't I was supposed to give Frank this. I didn't give it to him. This is our favorite film, Chef.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Hey,
For $4.
$3.99.
Yeah, for $4. Thought I'd grab that. And actually, Frank found this, and I'm like, I want to buy that. You could just borrow it from me. So he forgot to take it. And then I borrowed from him Dan in Real Life, which I haven't seen yet. Haven't watched it yet. But apparently, it's one of his favorite movies. Yep. So he loves this movie, and I will like it. So I got that. And then all this other stuff I borrowed from him before. But I don't know if you remember on past episodes how I talked about us stopping in Sturgeon Falls, Ontario, and they have a little hawk shop there that sells DVDs for $1. Actually, it was a place. Remember when they had like I went there and it was a blowout sale. It was DVDs for 25 cents. Do you remember that? It was like
yes, I
last
do
summer. It
remember you
was like
talking about
last
that.
summer, and I thought they were getting rid of their DVDs. I thought they were like, but no, they keep bringing DVDs in, and that I guess Sturgeon Falls is a little bit isolated, so maybe their internet isn't as solid as the bigger cities. So the physical media still reigns supreme there.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in there and they weren't 25 cents, but they had their DVDs for $1. So I've been on the lookout for Stephen King DVDs because I read his books, and then I want to watch the movie, and then when I go to watch the movie, I can't find it. So I'm like, well, I better be proactive at this. So I got myself Thinner on DVD.
I've never seen that one.
I've seen it before a long time ago, and I have read the book too. But yeah, it was good. It's a good one.
I just remember the trailer.
This yeah, I'll show you all the ones I picked up there. And then I got For Your Consideration, which is the Best in Show team, Christopher Guest kind of thing. I remember this one
Yes, I have seen that one, but oh gosh, which one is that?
It came out later. It came out after Mighty Wind and that, and I remember it not being as good as the other ones, but just to put it in with the collection.
Well, they're all good. Even have you seen the one that he did that's just on Netflix, Mascots?
I have not seen that one, no.
Yeah, like I'd say that one falls into the not as good category, but it's still the core is there,
So you'll really like this one. Let me see if you can guess what. I don't know what I could tell you to guess what movie it is.
An actor.
Okay, well, it's gonna give it away. If I give away the actor, you're gonna know what it is.
Really?
Yeah, it's that. I'll just give you the actor. Let's see how fast you'll get it after I give you the actor. It stars Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, okay. Is it the Reanimator?
You're close.
Bride of Reanimator?
You're close.
From Beyond.
Is that the title? Might be the Japanese title. Here in North America, we just call it Beyond Reanimator.
Oh, Beyond Reanimator. That's
is that a different movie?
That's the third one.
Okay.
I haven't seen that one.
Now, the only downside to this play, this one was pretty grungy, and they tape their DVDs closed, so you can't really check them. And when I opened it up, there was, let's see if the camera will pick it up. You see that happening there? All that, it's like a mold or something.
Oh, I see I see spots.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to take like some super cleaner to it and see if I can buff that out.
I mean, what's their return policy? Is it like everything's $1, but all sales final?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of fair, but I don't know. I think they should let you check the disc.
That would be nice.
So that is my favorite thing when I buy any DVDs or Blu-rays here. Go to the counter, they'll open it up, take out the disc, show it to you.
Oh yeah.
Always check in. That sometimes they'll wipe it off a little bit.
Some places do that here, but yeah, not everywhere. I mean, they're selling it for $1. They don't want to, don't waste our time. If you don't want it for $1, then just leave it on the counter.
I would absolutely have bought that for $1, even if I saw the spots.
Yeah, I think I could fix it. I think I can buff it out. We did go to Value Village, and I did pick up some more Stephen King. So I got the Langoliers.
Oh boy,
$3.99. Is that bad? I don't know.
I remember watching that one. It's got Belky Bartokomous in it.
Oh, right. Well, that's a plus. And then I got the Silver Bullet for $4.
That one I've never seen.
I think this was the ebook one. No, 1985. Never mind. That was a different movie. I also got Dave Chappelle's season 1 for $4.
I've got that.
we had season 2 and we were missing season 1. Even though I have no room in our TV bin, I'll have to make some. And then I got this collection of old horror films for $4.
Ooh.
So you got White Zombie, King of the Zombies, and Revolt of the Zombies. And it's a nice collection set. It's like, open her up there. And
ooh, pretty.
yeah, you got the DVDs in there.
That fun DVD packaging.
Yeah. They knew how to do it back then.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So, what the heck? Why not? For $4. What else do I got here? Yeah, okay. Talked about those already. All right, I'll show you a couple of little toy segment here because I did pick up a couple of toys.
Yes. Okay, is it going to be He-Man or Marvel?
Do you want to know, or do you want me to just?
I absolutely want to know. What do you got?
We got Sunman, which is a bit.
Man, I've never even heard of that character.
So they have a line of Masters of the Universe figures that were prototypes that never came out.
Really?
And that's the Sunman. Yeah, like these were supposed to come out and they never did.
It looks like he has some sort of a Captain America shield and
some
wings,
sort of wings
on his neck.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Anyways,
there was
the cases or the packaging is pretty roughed up, but I'm gonna open these because I don't care.
Okay.
And it says $20, but it was one of those discount places. So this was $8. $8.
There was a line of toys. I think they were called Dragonflies, where it was guys and they had like things on their neck that would spin around.
Yeah.
They were really desperate at one point in the 80s and 90s.
Look at this. Sauces in Punta Cana. What are you doing?
Punta Cana?
It's one of those Caribbean places. And it's in the Dominican. I think I was there. I think I went there once in 2010.
And your vacation is so boring. You got to listen to this.
Get out, go on the beach, man. What are you doing? And yeah, he's disappointed. It's more toys. It's only 2. And the other one I picked up was Fisto.
Oh, Fisto. I know him.
Yeah. So, and again, the packaging's a bit roughed up, but for $8, I'll open them up and I'll put them in the Wing Raider or Wind Raider. There you go. Okay, and then I'll show you what I borrowed from Frank. I borrowed a movie called Shockwave. It's by the director of Eat Man.
Okay,
I haven't watched it yet, but you'll like this one. This is a kung fu movie produced by Quentin Tarantino called Iron Fist. Or sorry, the man.
Is that the Man with the Iron Fist?
Man,
I did not like that one.
Oh, you have?
I have it. I watched it. It's
okay.
It's god awful.
Oh, great. Okay,
that's the one starring the RZA, right?
I don't know. Anyways, he bought it for like $5 somewhere or whatever, and this is why he bought it. It's like you can't spell kung fu without F and U. So that's a reason to buy a movie, I think.
Well, yeah. Oh, that's Russell Crowe on there with the gun, right?
Oh yeah, he is on there.
I saw that one and I did not enjoy it.
No. Well, that's not going to break my streak. People are worried about me over on Letterboxd because I've been giving bad reviews to a lot of movies lately. I actually had some people reach out. Are you okay? You seem to be in a bad mood. You're crapping on all these movies. I'm like, yeah, it's just a streak, man. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Just a coincidence.
Well, you watch enough stuff, you're gonna come across those.
It's just a coincidence. I swear. All right, that's everything. Other than I picked up a bunch of music too, but I don't think you're interested in that. So,
well, I see a lot of your record pickups on the Instagram there.
Yeah, you can go check that out.
Canadian Grooves.
.ca or wherever you get your Canadian Grooves from.
I don't know. Is there more than one Canadian Grooves?
I don't know. There might be. I don't know, but I do have a few movies that I watched and that. But I'll let you have a go here.
I got a couple of things to show. I'll do the movies and the toys. I did watch my queue for the NSS ABC. This Quo Vadis.
Oh yeah.
the old Ben-Hurish kind of epic. Um, Robert Taylor and Deborah Kerr, who was in The King and I, they're the stars of this, and they're the worst part of it because
Oh,
their sections there are super boring. This is a Christianity is good movie.
one of
It's
those.
all about the rise of Christianity in the Roman Empire,
Yeah.
and they really make Christians look out to be some kind of like creepy cultists.
Oh,
And
well, maybe I'll like it.
yeah, I mean, they all go into zombie mode as soon as like somebody starts reciting Jesus's words, and then they're
Oh.
all just like captivated and yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I thought the main guy, he's like a Roman soldier, and he falls in love with like someone who's now a Christian, and it's like, ooh, it's taboo, and their part is super boring. But when they get to the Emperor Nero and like everything that's going on with his people, that stuff's really good. That stuff's a lot of fun. There's a coliseum. There are lions that attack people. They crucify people. There's like they burn Rome. There's lots of great stuff going on. But anytime it focuses on the main character, you just
Mm.
kind of lose interest.
Oh.
Fun stuff. Why did I bring this? This is not a pickup. I've had this for a while. I finally watched The Abyss. This movie is super long.
Yes.
And it doesn't need to be that long. I guess
No.
special edition means 30 or 40 minutes of extra footage that was
Is
not
it
in the theatrical run.
is it an extended edition?
Well, this says it's 171 minutes, and when I
Whoa.
looked it up on IMDb, it was like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something.
Okay.
So, and it feels like it. This
Mm.
feels like one of those movies that needs to be cut down because there's some good stuff in there, but man, it goes on forever, and the emotional beats of where you think the movie's gonna end, like, it kinda hits that moment, and
Yeah.
then it goes on for another 20 minutes, and then it happens again, and it goes on for another 20 minutes. So, I don't know. I'm curious to watch the theatrical cut someday.
Yeah.
Mm. I will say, though, that, that Ed Harris, he scares me.
Was he
He
scary in
he's
that? I
such
can't
he's
remember.
not in the movie, just in general. He's such
Oh.
an intimidating presence. Anytime I see him in a movie,
Yeah.
like he was the I forget what the title is, but in Apollo 13, he was like the director
Yeah.
down on the ground.
Right.
And boy, it's just like I would be so scared of that guy if I worked for him.
You know, that movie just got a
Hmm.
4K release, and people are going gaga for it. They were so excited.
Yeah, this and maybe like True Lies, a
There's
couple of the
saw
James
a lot.
Cameron movies
Yeah,
that
True Lies and Aliens. I guess it was like the James Cameron
aliens, yeah.
trilogy or something. Yeah.
And just like he keeps saying he's going to do it, but then he's also making, 10 Avatar
Oh
sequels
yeah,
that
yeah,
take forever.
yeah.
Oh. A little while ago, maybe last episode, I talked about how I watched The Return of the Living Dead parts 3 and 4,
Yes.
but I had never seen the original. Went right out and I found the
Wow.
original.
Look at you.
Happened to come across it. This was really good. The original is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So,
I still have to track down the second one, but I really enjoyed this one.
so just remind me, the original, that's the one where they're in the house, the black and white one. They're in the house. Or am I like, is that the wrong movie?
No, you may be thinking Night of the Living Dead.
Oh,
This
okay.
is The Return of the Living Dead. This is a
Oh my goodness.
comedy
Oh.
written and directed by Dan O'Bannon, who did the first draft of the original Alien film.
Hmm.
This is just goofy, silly punk rock teenagers and zombies. Lots of fun.
That
Lots of
sounds
fun.
like fun.
If you come across this, yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Yeah, I will be popping that one in again.
Okay.
This I was very excited to get. I ordered this because recently I've been I've been getting more into online shopping.
Yeah.
I tend to, like to go to the stores. I want to see things and come across, I never know what you're going to find. But after a certain number of years, after, burning a lot of gas, going
It's
here
taking
and
over.
there, and then,
You can't fight it.
yeah, and then just, you go there and sometimes there's nothing, or you just see the same stuff that was there 2 months ago, last time you went. So I was like, forget it. eBay is not like a big thing here, but they do have their equivalents, and there's one called Medukati that's just a flea market online. Post your
Right.
stuff, people buy it, whatever. So I made an account and I've been going on there and doing some shopping. And the first DVD that I bought, something I've been trying to find for a very long time. I don't know, maybe it's common where you are, but Beavis and Butthead Do Christmas.
I've never seen that.
You've
Like,
never seen it?
no.
This is not one that I watched a lot. I've seen it like once or twice. But my wife used to watch this all the time. She still has the VHS copy.
Wow.
She used to watch it all the time because Christmas was not big for her when she was in the States.
Right.
So everyone would go off do stuff, and she would just sit there watching Beavis and Butthead do Christmas. So I was very surprised to see it on pop up, and I'm like, hey, good for me. It's mine now.
Right on.
Another thing I ordered online, my little toy segment here. If you look carefully, I've got
Oh,
a good guy doll, a little tiny good guy doll, and then I have the
wow.
possessed good guy doll, little Chucky grimace there,
Wow.
and then we've got the full on scarred up
Wow.
Chucky.
That's cool.
Um, these are neat. These are also those little capsule things. You
Yeah.
put a couple hundred yen in, and you get these. Now, this series, it was just these three Chuckies, and they come with like little weapons, bats, and hammers and things. There was a second series which has these same three figures, but they give them different weapons and stuff to make it look like you're getting something new. But they also have Tiffany and Glenn. Of course, Tiffany is his wife and Glenn is his child.
Child. Yeah.
Uh, So those I've been searching for. I actually did order a Glen yesterday, but Tiffany's a hard one to find. So
Mm.
I'm on the lookout to see if I can get that to complete the family.
That's cool. I like
They are
those.
neat.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do not have any updates on my DeLoreans. I have not been able to find them.
Wow.
It's a hot ticket.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons I'm having so much trouble is now that the pandemic is like, old news. There's all these tourists, all these foreigners coming into
Lousy
this country,
tourists. Lousy.
and I bet you they're out there just eating up all my my DeLoreans.
Probably.
Them without jobs or anything, just
Yeah.
walking around. Sure, I'll bring these back as souvenirs.
That's what I would be doing.
Darn it, I need them.
I don't like Japanese culture. What do I need that for? I need DeLoreans.
No, I need buy little toys.
Yeah. Forget that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it. That's all I brought to show.
Oh. Did you,
Yeah.
you watching anything or?
I watched a whole bunch of things. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, okay. Batman took forever. All right. I'll do my Batman thing because I have a Batman thing. I mentioned I was watching the animated series,
Yes.
and I finished season 1, and then I did what you're not supposed to do on this show is promise something, and I promised that I would start watching the second season and third season. I didn't do that yet. So I made a top 10 list of my favorite Batman episodes from the first series, from the first season.
Okay.
And these are in no particular order. They're just the 10 that kind of stood out most to me. I'll start with episode number 7. It's called POV. This is there's a botched police operation, and there's 3 police officers. There's that Bullock, Montoya, and some guy named Wilkes, and they're all being questioned by internal affairs, like what happened, and they're all giving their perspective because they were split
Oh,
up in different areas.
I remember that one.
And then so Bullock's story talks about something,
Yeah.
and then the next officer talks about it, and then you see kind of like a different version of it, and then
Mhm.
a third version of it. And it's just it was a good story, and it was very interestingly told. The way they told the story from all the perspectives, I enjoyed it. The next one I picked a two-parter, the Two-Face origin story. This was
Yeah.
nice because Two-Face,
Harvey.
they took the time to set up Harvey Dent as a character in a couple of other episodes, voiced, if you remember, by Richard Mole, Bull from
That's right.
Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah. So he, it was just his like how he became Two-Face. It was pretty good.
I used to work with a guy, and we were both fans of the animated series, and we would get like we were, on an email. We get an email, and there was a guy named Harvey something that would need
Mhm.
something done, right? And so the guy I was working with was in the other room, and I'd be in that, and the email would come in, and I would see what's Harvey thing, and all I'd have to do is yell Harvey, and he knew exactly what I was talking about. Oh, that Harvey needs that thing done.
Yep. The next one I picked is episode number 12. It's called "It's Never Too Late." This is a good one. Between in the animated series, they had all these like mob guys. It wasn't always super villains. So
Yeah.
sometimes it was just regular mob things. And this was about there's like a mob war going on, and this was just about a relationship between one of the mob bosses and his brother, and like a traumatic thing that happened to them in their childhood, and it's just their relationship.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Number 14, Heart of Ice. That's the intro to Mr. Freeze, where he
Oh
goes on
yeah,
about what
that's a
happened to
great
his
episode.
happened with his wife. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Episode 22, Joker's Favor. Some guy named Charlie Collins is driving home one day. He's having a bad time. Got fired from his job.
Oh
Trouble
yeah,
at
that's a good
home.
one too. Yeah.
And he's like somebody puts him off, and he flips him off. Oh,
Yeah,
it
and it
was
was
the
a
Joker.
Joker.
So
Yeah.
Joker pulls him over and says, like, look, you can't be acting like this. Give me your license.
Yeah.
And he keeps the guy's license, and he says, someday I'm gonna call on you. 2 years goes by. The guy like moves away, changes his name. Joker still knows where he is. And
Mhm.
he pulls him in and says, look, I need you to help me with the job. And this guy is just caught up in this crazy adventure.
Yeah.
Episode 26, Appointment in Crime Alley. There's something going on where arsonists are trying to burn down this slum area, and it's one of those things where Batman is trying to get to his meeting time to put the roses down to pay tribute to his fallen parents, but he
Yeah.
gets caught up with
Vaguely remember that
crime
one.
stuff. Well, you might be confusing it with another because there's nothing on
Oh,
the list that sounds almost exactly the same.
okay.
Next episode, 27, Almost Got Him. Joker, Killer Croc, Penguin, Two-Face, Poison Ivy are sitting around playing poker, talking about their schemes of how they almost got Batman and
Oh,
who was the
yeah.
closest. That
Okay.
was a good one. It was a nice. I like when the villains aren't doing villain things. They're just talking and kind of like Joker with the guy on the side of the road when they're
Yeah.
just being crazy to normal people and stuff. Here's the other one. It's called I Am the Night. It's another one where Batman is trying to go put down the roses and whatever. But at the same time, he's trying to make that appointment to visit where his parents were killed. But he also has to help with the stakeout. And he's bouncing back and forth. Like he keeps getting caught up with something else. And Gordon ends up getting shot and like fatally injured.
Oh,
So Batman starts debating like, should I give this up? Am I like,
right.
am I really doing anything? Episode 51, The Man Who Killed Batman. Some little, you know, 2-bit thug thinks he killed Batman. and everyone else thinks he did too. So he kind of becomes a big shot in the crime
Yeah,
community.
that sounds vaguely familiar.
Episode 53, Paging the Crime Doctor. This is another one between a mob boss, Rupert Thorne, and his brother, who is like a crime doctor who can't pursue his dreams of becoming a legitimate doctor because he's so caught up in the crime world. And then there's a little connection there where uh, the guy who's the doctor was actually a friend of Bruce Wayne's father. So,
Okay.
spoiler at the end of the episode, Bruce Wayne comes up to him and he just wants to hear stories about his father.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that was my 10, and most of them are all the ones that deal with like really small stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I the episodes where, Joker is like putting gas all over the city or something like that, they're fine, but the ones that really sit down and like pick out a couple of characters and focus on them. Batman is sometimes just in like a third party to this. He's just like one element that kind of swoops in. But I thought a lot of these were really well written. Sometimes come from a unique perspective. Fun stuff. Now, I didn't start watching the second season of this, but I did notice that Justice League is also on Netflix right now, and I had never watched that when I was
I mean,
whenever it
neither.
was on, because I think it was like you had to have a cable station or something. I don't know what it was on. Um, but after just like one or two episodes, it's like not even close.
Oh
Not
yeah.
even
Yeah.
close to the level of Batman the Animated Series.
I remember the Superman show with was it the guy from Wings, Tim Daly? Is that his name?
I can't remember if he did that one or if he's the guy doing it on the Justice League because it's a different voice. The Superman show wasn't bad
I
because
remember it being pretty good.
that was the same team that did Batman, but this Justice League one, it's n- everything feels off.
Mm.
For starters, like I think every episode is like a 2 or 3 part episode. Like they,
Oh.
they do these big stories. And it's just like when suddenly now all the superheroes are there, all of the stakes are so much bigger. Everything is like a doomsday
Mm.
episode. Someone's trying to take over the world. And it doesn't make sense half the time because you have to constantly take into consideration each person's powers and then all the situations they get into. It's like, okay, you got Batman and the Flash, and they're both being strangled by these giant vines. Sorry, Superman and the Flash. But if Superman is struggling and can't get out, shouldn't that mean that Flash is
It's
getting
like torn
crushed to
apart.
death?
Yeah, yeah,
And then like it starts
yeah,
coming up, but the Flash isn't running away from it.
yeah.
Shouldn't he have gotten out of there? It's like there's all that, and just the animation. A lot of times the characters just stand there, like the arms straight down. There's
Mm.
the voice acting isn't great. Eh. And I gotta say, if you've never seen it, the opening theme to that show, possibly the worst opening theme I've ever seen of any cartoon anywhere.
Really?
It's got terrible, out of date, that early CGI.
Oh,
It looks horrible. It looks horrible. The theme song is kind of dull, like dreary and depressing. I don't know.
mm.
Doesn't get you excited to watch Justice League.
Was it like Enterprise? The opening to Enterprise? Been a long time.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that one. Okay, so what's your Batman Took Forever? Did you finally
Oh
watch that
my
movie
goodness!
or something?
I went on my Android box and they got everything on there. And one of the
Hmm.
movies that keeps coming up is The Batman. It's like, Kevin, you need to watch The Batman.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I hit play on it and I started watching a little bit of it. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. I'm gonna save this because it was like in the middle of the afternoon or whatever. And I saw that it's like a 3-hour movie. I'm like, I'm gonna save this for like the dark, but I need an evening to myself to ingest
Hmm.
this. So I had it in my mind, and lo and behold, on the old Amazon, the 4K came up for The Batman
Oh, look at that.
for $15, and I said, "What the heck? I'll grab that." And on the Android box, I should have watched a little more, because this turns out to be incredibly boring. It is so long. It is so dull. It is full of scenes that you have seen already in other Batman films. It is full of scenes that you've already seen in this Batman film. It is so long, like it's like it repeats itself. This needed an editor so badly, but even that, I don't think it would have saved the movie, because there's just so much in it that doesn't really make too much sense. And it just like there's a scene where you have the mobster guy, and he's out on the thing, and he's getting arrested and all that, and all of a sudden, boom, he's shot. There's a sniper off somewhere that shot him. And Batman has to like go in, oh, this is where the sniper was, and all that stuff. And then like an hour later in the film, there's a politician up at a podium talking to a crowd, and boom, the same thing happens. Like, oh, the sniper got him. I gotta go up there, and jeez, it's like the same. I just saw this. I had just saw this. All like it's all the same characters: Riddler, Catwoman, of course, Batman.
Oh, I mean that. What are you gonna do with that?
Penguin. It's all just the same. I like the look of the Penguin. The Penguin was played by what's his name?
Colin Farrell, right?
Colin Farrell. Yeah, and he doesn't look like Colin Farrell at all. They got like a lot of
I've heard that.
makeup on him.
I think I saw 1 or 2 pictures.
But I heard they're doing a spin-off movie of the Penguin, I think. But he looked good, but like the movie itself was just so like dull. Robert Patterson, he's like an emo Bruce Wayne. He's got the black eye makeup on all the time, because he wears black eye makeup when he has the hood on. So when it's not on, it's like running down his face, and he just looks like he's got the emo hair and the whole thing. He's moody throughout the whole thing. He's not interesting. I was so bored. I was on my phone the entire time. I was trying to get captivated. Like the Batmobile comes up, and that's even disappointing. I was expecting like a little more like 70s muscle car, and it's still very science fiction CG kind of thing. Like it doesn't feel like like the way that I was hoping the Batmobile would be, like the fun part of like it's an early Batman story, right? Before he gets Robin and all that stuff. And the fun part, I think, about those kind of stories is that you kind of he's not as skilled, he's not as practiced at the whole thing, right? He doesn't have the best equipment yet and all that stuff. And that stuff would be fun. But so that would have been kind of neat to watch him driving around in like a more of a regular kind of car, like put some gadgets on there, but but they still made it like a crazy mobile that it's like you feel like he's not going to get hurt in this thing at all. So I don't know what kind of tension was in it, but
yeah, well, I don't know if they'd be willing to make a film like that anymore. Especially like something that's supposed to be a big blockbuster. You gotta jazz it up.
Yeah, and I don't know how spoilery you want me to get, but like the whole plot to destroy Gotham City doesn't really make any sense. Like I know the city of Louisiana is below sea level. I get it because of just where they put the city. It doesn't make any sense that they put the city there, but whatever. The city of Louisiana is below sea level. But this Gotham, it's supposed to be like a New York or, East Coast kind of island city where there's bridges everywhere and that. And like the island is below sea level. It doesn't make any sense. And so like the bad guy sets up a bunch of bombs everywhere to blow up walls to let in the seawater to destroy the city. This doesn't make any, like, who planned this city? It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
That's what you call convenience.
Yeah. And you can blame it on my my ADD or whatever. Maybe you loved this movie and thought it was the greatest thing, but I could not get into it. I just thought it was so boring, and I really would like a Batman film that would show me something different than the same thing over and over again. You know,
I don't think you're gonna
like,
get a whole lot of different with
well,
Batman now. How many movies have there been now?
I don't know. I think this
There's
is
got to be at least a dozen
somewhere between 10 and
more.
15, I guess.
Yeah, I would say probably closer to 15.
And if you count the cartoon ones, you probably are getting closer to 20, right?
Yeah, I will say I don't need any more Batman because what I got from the animated series is all I need.
Well, I always felt that like a good Batman film would be just him needing to solve a crime, right? Like there's something happened, and now he has to do his detective thing. He's got to figure out
Hmm.
who did it. And this movie kind of touches on that a little bit, but it gets very much into the whole Bruce Wayne's parents died. What was his father like? This was his father. They get very like sort of Robert Kennedy, like the kind of the Kennedy family thing, you know. Like imagine if Robert Kennedy's father died while he was young, and he finds out later that he might have been into nefarious things or whatever, or maybe he wasn't. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I felt like I've seen this Batman film at least twice already. Like Tim Burton did it once, and it felt like what's his name, Christopher Nolan did it a second time, and it felt like they were just doing this a third time.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'd like to see something different. I'm just kind of bored. Like even the it's like the same, like the villain that they're setting up for the next film. It's like the same villain again, And then I don't understand how Warner Brothers does its things because they got all different actors playing like these characters, right? Like Batman's supposed to be Ben Affleck, right? Isn't Ben Affleck like he pops up in
Well,
the
that's
Suicide
done
Squad?
now.
Is he done?
I
Is this guy taking
think
over?
so. That's what I assumed
But there was a
when this guy.
Suicide. I think the latest Suicide Squad movie had Ben Affleck in it. I think. I don't know. Anyway, Sauce is probably screaming right now in Punta Cana that when he because he probably has the answer. But anyways, I was really bored with the Batman. Not my favorite. Another movie I had borrowed from Frank, and this stars your gal, Kate Beckinsale. And it's a thriller that takes place in Antarctica, and it's called.
Oh, okay. Wow, it took me a long time to remember who that was.
Oh,
Whiteout.
Whiteout. So it's funny. Sarah and I started watching this movie, and she plays this U.S. Marshal that is in Antarctica, which is apparently something they do because they need some law enforcement down there, and they'll send a U.S. Marshal down there to keep tabs on the scientists and that. But it's like it's introducing everything, and you get like a feel and a sense for the whole like Well, there was like a plot thing at the beginning where a plane goes down and all that, but once you're getting a feel of where they are, like what's going on and all that, and she starts walking around, and it's kind of like the West Wing thing where she's got her people with her, and she's like, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to retire from this thing, I'm done with this thing, and blah blah blah. And then she walks into her quarters and closes the door, and I'm like, all right, this is where she gets naked, and of course like she starts taking off this clothes and that one and that one. Then all of a sudden she's like in the shower, and the camera's going right up her crotch. It was something else. Anyways, it was a really boring thriller. I was kind of done with it after 15 minutes, but we stuck there and we watched the whole thing. It tried to have like all these kind of like plot twists and that, but none of it really made too much sense. I don't know. It just wasn't really my thing. The worst thing in the movie was they have those things, like how like they rope each other from building to building, right? Like they have those ropes from building to building in case there's like a storm or it's too close, like you can't get lost, right? So you hook yourself on the rope,
yes.
and then you'll go to like there'll be like spot in the middle, and then you're like, okay, I want to go to the hospital, and you click over to the hospital, and you go over to this rope.
Mm-hmm.
So in this movie, at some points in the movie, like they're fighting bad guys, right? And so they'll be clipped onto the rope, and it'll be like there's like this whiteout happening. It's like the storm, and they're fighting, punching each other and stuff like that, ducking and all that stuff. And then, well, if you want to get rid of a guy really fast, they would unhook his rope. Like there's no tension on the rope or anything like that. They would just unhook him, and then the guy would go flying away. It was like the rope was like magical. It was just like the rope. Like if you were on the rope, you could move around. You're okay. But as soon as that clip came off, you're gone. Bye-bye. See you later. You're going to freeze to death in Antarctica. It was very silly movie. All right. And finally, I didn't watch very many movies. These are all the movies I watched. The final movie I watched just today, right before we started recording this, is the Nicolas Cage classic.
8mm.
No, it's much more recent.
Forehead.
Much more recent. You might not even heard this movie, but it's called Pig.
Oh, Pig! I did hear of that, but I don't know much about it. Something about he's looking for his pig.
Yeah, pretty much. It kind of has a little bit of John Wick quality to it, because
after everything has a John Wick quality.
Well, because John Wick, something happened to his dog, and this one something happens to his pig. Sarah liked the movie. I really didn't care for it. There was a couple of things that didn't make sense. So he is like a recluse that lives in this cabin, and this guy, he only has like one contact to the real world, and that's the guy who buys truffles for him. So he goes out with his pig, and he finds the truffles, and he brings them back to his cabin, and then this kid in a Camaro drives up and has like canned food and supplies and stuff like that in exchange for the truffles. He takes the truffles, and then he goes and delivers them to his suppliers or whatever. And at some point, somebody comes in and steals the pig. Pig is gone. So his only connection to the outside world is this kid. So he tells the kid, I got to go find my pig. And the guy's like, well, okay. So they went to like, where the dealers are, the truffle things and all that. And they kind of got it to a dead end. They found the people who stole the pig, but they don't know who they sold it to. They just sold it for money. They were kind of a couple of druggies. And so it was a bit of a dead end. So then Nicolas Cage says, okay, well, take me to the city. And the kid's like, I'm your only connection to the outside world. What are you going to do in the city? He's like, I know a guy there. So he takes him to the city. And he meets up with this person that's living in it's like a tent kind of thing, like a big tent. And he goes in there, and Nicolas Cage says, brings him some food, he's like, I need a favor from you. And the guy says, you know what? Your name used to mean something in this town, but it doesn't mean anything now. So Nicolas Cage just walks out, leaves him the food, and walks out. So then the kid's like, what are we going to do now? And Nicolas Cage's like, we're going to go to they're in Portland. We're going to go to the Portland Hotel. The kid's like, there is no Portland Hotel. Well, the Portland Hotel turns out to be code name for where they meet up for a fight club kind of thing.
Okay. So
Nicolas Cage finds where the fight club is, and he goes in there and he writes his name on the wall, and everybody's like, oh my God, it's this guy. And they're putting their money down or whatever to fight him in the fight club. So then Nicolas Cage gets up there, and he gets like punched and beat up and all this stuff and smacked around, but he doesn't really like move or anything, just gets punched and beat up. And then time is called. And so the Nicolas Cage goes to the table, and the guy that was in the tent is there. And I'm like thinking to myself, oh, okay. So Nicolas Cage is like this fight club guy, right? And so he was showing this guy that his name still means something, because all he did was write his name on the wall, and everybody wanted to fight him. And so he gives him like a piece of paper. And I'm like, okay, that must be like where he thinks who took the pig or something like that. And then the movie he starts trying to find his pig. He can't find his pig. So then Nicolas Cage is like, okay, well, I have all these connections because I'm actually the chef. And I'm the chef and I have all these connections to like the restaurant world in this town, and I'm going to use those connections to find my pig. And I'm thinking, like, what was the point of that Fight Club thing? I don't understand. What if he had all these connections as a chef? Why wouldn't he just go in there and use his connections as a chef to find the pig? Why did he have to do the Fight Club thing? I still don't understand it. So I know there's big Nicolas Cage fans that listen to this. So maybe when they can explain it to me, they can fill in the blank, because I don't understand why he had to do the Fight Club thing. And I don't know how spoilery you want me to get.
I've blacked out like twice during this description. So if
Okay.
you tell me the ending, I probably won't.
I'm
even
not going to tell you
remember.
the ending. I'm just going to tell you something that doesn't make sense. I'll just say, so if you want to watch Pig, like, I don't know, fast forward or something like that. So he gets to the guy who put together the stunt to take the pig, to put together the plan to steal the pig from Nicolas Cage.
Mhm.
And the guy's like, look, I took your pig. Take $25,000 from me and go away. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why didn't the guy go to Nicolas Cage and say, I want your pig. I'll pay you $25,000 for it. And that would have been good.
Or just buy another pig.
Well, apparently this pig has like some sort of way of finding the best truffles for that. But that turns out to be not true either, because Nicolas Cage even says, I don't use the pig to find truffles. I just look at the trees and I know where the truffles are. He just loved the pig. He just wanted to be with the pig. So this whole thing doesn't make any sense. Like, the guy could have went to him and said, I'll give you $25,000 for the pig. Nicolas Cage would have said, no, I love my pig. And the guy would have said, but I really want the pig so I can find truffles. And Nicolas Cage would have said, I don't really use the pig to find truffles. I just look at trees, and that's how I find truffles. So even if you had this pig, you're not going to find the truffles.
How hard is it to find a truffle these days? Can you just stick a camera in the woods and say, look, that's where the truffles grow?
Magical truffles or something. So I look, when it comes for me, I know that there was like other messages in the movie and there was supposed to be allegories for things and all that. But for me, I like a story. I like plots. I hate like when they cheap out. I hate when they cheap out on things, and they just, because they like they write themselves in a corner, and it's just like, well, we'll just make it like this, and like, no. You gotta be more clever. I like clever scripts like Anatomy of a Fall or American Fiction. Like those are the kind of movies that I really like. So, maybe you'd like these movies or whatever, but for me, they just drive me bananas. I still don't understand the whole Fight Club thing though. That's really, it makes no sense.
Okay. Well, speaking of movies that you like,
Yes.
how about a little fun fact about your favorite movie?
Ghostbusters.
I'm guessing you do not know.
Oh, let's see.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, because I picked up on this just the other day. My kids were watching Ghostbusters again.
Good for them.
Walk through the room, and yeah, when Ghostbusters is on, you gotta stop and watch.
Yep.
So it was right from the beginning. So they go, they see the ghost, they run out of the building, and you see a movie so many times. After a while, you start looking in the background,
Okay.
just checking out what else is going on. So the scene where they're all running out of the library, and the library guy is like, "Oh, what happened? What was it?" And then he's up at the top of the stairs. He's there in the center. Off to the left-hand side of the screen, there's an extra who just kind of like pops in and pops out.
Oh, really?
He's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" He's
Yeah.
just kind of like, "Oh." And for whatever reason, my eyes went right to him. And I was like, "Oh, okay. There's just that extra." I'm wondering, is that one of those things? Was he supposed to do that, or was he supposed to like, ooh, just kind of come in and go out again? Anyway, it was just like I saw it. Fast forward a few scenes, they're leaving the bank to, oh, everybody's got 3 mortgages these days.
Yes.
That same extra can be seen walking along the side of Venkman as they're going down the street. And I was like, that's the guy. That's the guy from the library. There you go.
Wow, no, I've never noticed that before. I, of course, did not have the widescreen version when I was a kid, so
Well, of course,
that was
yes.
probably cut off. But yeah, they do
Well,
frequently.
yeah, hey, when you were a kid, you've had this movie in HD format for quite a
Yes,
while, quite a
yes.
few
No,
copies of it
there
as
is no
well.
excuse. You're right. You're right.
Yes.
I should. I did not know that. I did not know that about the extra. I know that scene, and I think we talked about this when we did the Ghostbusters episode, like I guess a
Mhm.
decade ago now. Uh, that scene where they're coming down the stairs, there was Harold Ramis dropped all his stuff, right? Like he was supposed
Yes,
to. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. So maybe that extra was like, oh, I guess we're calling cut. Oh, we're not. Okay, keep going, kind of thing.
Maybe
Maybe,
a
maybe.
very fair point. It might have looked like a botched take from
Yeah.
his perspective.
But they do that in movies a lot. They reuse the
Yeah,
extras,
yeah, because you've got a certain number of people, and if you've got someone that knows what to do, it says like, okay, don't look at the camera, do that.
Yeah,
Although I did see somebody look at the camera. I think it was in that. Oh, what was it? I think it's the scene right before Venkman gives Egon the crunch bar
yeah,
when there's like all the college kids
yeah,
walking around them. At one point, there is a guy. There's like a couple people coming by, and one guy just kind of like real quick, like looks up, maybe looking at the camera. Um, but yeah, for the most part, if you have extras that know what they're doing, it's like, okay, great, go be over there. And then in this scene, just be someone who walks by, and they
yeah.
might appear a couple of times throughout the course of the film.
Hmm. Yeah, they would reuse them, especially when they were shooting on location in New York. Yeah, because you just bring the
Yeah.
extras with you to different. They're supposed to change their clothes. Like sometimes they'll have a sweater on, or something they'll. So they're
Yeah,
not
I
as
wasn't sure
noticeable.
if
But
that guy had different clothes on or not, but I just did recognize his face.
yeah. Okay. Well, no, I have never really actually studied the extras in the background of Ghostbusters. So now I'm
There you
gonna.
go. Next
That's what
time
I'm
you
gonna look for.
watch any movie that you've seen like a dozen times or
Yeah,
more, just stare at the background.
I got something forward to look forward to now on my next viewing of
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
It also slightly spoils things a bit because I've noticed, there are some continuity errors with the eggs when they go to the close up and then they pull
Yeah,
back. It's like,
yeah, yeah. I have
oh, the
noticed
yolk went
those.
that
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
I have noticed that. That's like when makeup is a little
That's
different or
that's
whatever.
nitpicky stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
You know, movies are movies.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's not like as if Peter Venkman before they got the three mortgages went into a basement and got beat up in a fight club to prove
Mhm.
that his name meant something, and then he went, you know, and got the mortgages.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I brought it back. I did.
There you go. Full circle.
Yeah. All right. I got nothing else. Do you have anything else?
Um, I have been playing a video game. I've
Oh,
been playing a lot of
I have been too, actually.
I've been playing The House of the Dead 2 on the Nintendo Wii.
Oh,
Light gun
nice.
shooty action.
Yeah.
I've always loved that game. I played it a lot in the arcades. I never got very far in it because, it's an arcade game. You're not supposed to get far into
Yeah.
it unless you pump in a lot of money. But on the Wii, every time I think it's like every time you play and you get like a certain distance, they'll say, "Oh, now you get an extra continue. Oh, now you get an extra continue." So now I'm up to like 9 continues. And yesterday I finally got to the final boss. I had never done that before. I got to the final boss with 0 continues left and only 1 life point left,
Oh,
so it
wow.
didn't last too long. But I actually got to the end. I was
Oh,
happy about that.
I don't know if that's the case. I have them on the PlayStation 3 with the PlayStation
Mhm.
Move kind of thing. And I remember just sailing through those games. Like, I think I had unlimited continues. Are you sure there's not
Uh,
something in the menu where you can just give yourself unlimited continues?
you can give yourself more, like, you can give yourself more continues
Okay.
and, like, extra I think, like, extra lives,
Yeah.
but playing on normal difficulty, no, there's still times where I'll play through a level once, and I'll get through a section pretty easily. Next time I play through, it's like my aim is off, I can't get the zombie before it,
Yeah. Yeah.
attacks the person, and then you gotta go a different route and everything. But no, it's like I don't think I'm brilliant at the game. I just enjoy it. But no, I haven't gotten.
Oh, okay.
I
It
haven't.
might be
I can't
different on
just
the
like
Wii.
unlimited continues in there.
Yeah. Have you played? I think we talked about this. You played House of the Dead Overkill, right? That,
No, I haven't.
oh,
I
that game is
have. I do know about it and
yeah.
everything. But the good thing about the older ones, I don't have to worry if my kids are into
Yeah,
them.
you
It's
don't
just
want to play
like
that with your
silly
kids.
zombies. That one I did think about. I saw it the other maybe a couple weeks ago. I saw it somewhere. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a fine game.
Oh, it's excellent. It's adults only for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think I talked about the movies I watched already. Did I say I watched License to Kill?
Uh, Last time
Timothy Dalton.
I think maybe did you? I can't remember.
Maybe I
No,
haven't, but
no, you
no,
haven't.
no, no. Okay, no, I didn't. Yeah, well, I watched one of his. That was my L for the contest. Um, I don't know. I thought it was fine. I didn't see it as it. He was a bit more stiff, I believe you said,
Yeah,
compared to the other James
yeah,
Bonds. Which I didn't mind because it was a little less campy, but still, it was one of those like I'm not vibing with these James Bond movies. It
oh well,
feels
that
like
one,
you gotta have the casino scene. You
yeah,
gotta have this scene and just
that one felt very cheap to me. Like that was
oh yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Definitely, definitely. That's probably the thing I liked about it most because it felt like
like a
an
B
A
film.
team episode at
Yeah, yeah,
times. It
totally.
was
Like it,
just
because they were in the same trap as the Star Trek films, right? They had a budget in
mhm,
1980, and then that was it. That was your James Bond budget, and it was the same every year. And things kept getting more and more expensive, and they wouldn't
right.
put more money into it, so the movies just kept getting more and more cheap. You know, like For Your Eyes Only, it was an 8 year old. A movie that was 8 years older, but it looks better than License to Kill. License to Kill looks
Yeah.
like I
It
that
does look very, very TV show, syndicated
And
series
that's
at the time.
it's Joe Don Baker, right? Is the bad guy, and then he fights him in a
The bad
uh
guy was Robert Davi.
oh,
Robert Davi is the guy with like the pockmarked face. He was one of the Goonies, the Fratelli
which
brothers.
so that wasn't the
He
one where
was
he's in
no,
the
what was this is the one where there's sharks and underwater stuff.
wow, that's everyone.
Oh, okay.
No, he the Civil War scene where he's fighting uh in the Civil War. Uh,
No.
which one is that
No.
then?
Well, there were only two Timothy Dalton movies,
I
right?
know. I thought that was License to Kill. The
This
guy was
one,
like the guy was obsessed with the Civil War. No?
no, not
Okay.
this one.
Damn it. I can't remember which one that was then.
No, but this one it starts with a wedding.
Oh, right.
Timothy
Yeah.
Dalton,
Yeah.
he's going off to a wedding, and then they got to end up going on a helicopter and
Yeah.
fighting and
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff. But in this movie, Robert Davi, who the guy from the Goonies,
Yeah.
and he was one of Agent Johnson in Die Hard, the
Yes.
FBI agents.
Yep.
The other guy who was also the other Agent Johnson in Die Hard is also in this movie, and he plays a DEA agent at the beginning of the film who's
Oh,
on the
really?
helicopter. Yeah, so both Johnson and Johnson are in this, and this was 1 year after Die Hard. I think maybe they share one scene together. I don't know if they really talk to each other that
Okay. It
much.
was okay. I do have them mixed up. It was the Living Daylights with Joe Don Baker and the Civil War thing. Yeah, that thing was terrible too. I'm sorry. I don't like the Timothy Dalton movies at all. They and it's weird. Joe Don Baker played that villain in that movie, and then he came back and he was um Felix Leiter in the Pierce Bronson movies.
Oh, they
Anyways,
recycle a couple of
well, actor,
actors
yeah,
in
they
the movies.
recycled the actor, anyways. But sorry, he wasn't Felix Leiter. He was Jack Wade. For some reason, he was like a Felix Leiter type character, but he's Jack Wade or something. I can't remember. Anyways,
I don't know. I did watch other movies. I watched The Sand Pebbles, old Steve McQueen movie.
Oh yeah, with Candice Bergen.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
yep,
yes. That was pretty good.
yep.
The Deer Hunter, which I found kind of at
It's a
times.
depressing film.
It's a
It's
depressing film, but it's also a very, very like I get it. Sometimes you got to play on the coincidence, but like these three guys, they all go off to Vietnam, and then they all just, oh hey, we're all here together.
well,
We all met up again.
weren't they from the same town?
They were from the same town, but there's like they just kind of cross paths
Yeah,
quite easily.
yeah,
Gosh, I finally watched Rain Man. That was really good.
yeah.
Dustin Hoffman's great in that.
That's a great Dustin Hoffman film. No thanks to
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
I thought he did a pretty good job in that.
He's fine.
He's
It's okay.
he's better than he normally is in a lot of roles
He's fine.
because he kind of plays second fiddle in that
If
one.
you took another actor, if you took Tom Cruise out and put in another actor that's just as competent,
Sure,
it would have been fine.
but
Maybe
I
you took
think
out
it
Dustin
works for
Hoffman,
him
then
because
it's not the same.
I think it gives it an extra level because he's pompous and arrogant, his character.
He's playing
and,
himself. Yeah, he's
yeah,
playing himself.
there you go. I did watch Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh, I haven't seen
Not
that
great.
since. Not great, no.
I had never seen it before, but I was excited because Tim Curry was in it.
Yeah.
And even Tim Curry is like, he's not Tim Curry enough
What year
in
did
his
that come
performance.
out? Do you have that?
96.
Yeah, so I think I watched that on VHS with my sister back then.
Yeah. And I also watched Cinderella Man.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe boxer movie.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good.
I watched a bunch of movies.
I played a video game too. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a long Western style game, but it's enjoyable. It's not as fast paced as your usual sandbox game, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I've been playing it for probably about a month and a half now. It's a long game, but I just put it on for an hour or two, and yeah, it's good times. You get to. I was kind of sad because, spoiler alert, my character got tuberculosis.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's not good. So I have to race towards a cure, and it's one of those games where I'm like, I know if I jump in, I could finish it. Like if I just today, that's all I'm gonna do is just play this game, but I kind of want it to stretch it out, so I only just play it for a little bit, so it keeps going. Because I don't want I know what happened at the end of the first Red Dead game, and I don't want the same to happen at the end of this Red Dead game. So,
does it have multiple endings?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So it's whatever's going to happen is pretty much inevitable, but I'm just kind of stretching it out. Did I talk about me wrapping up All in the Family?
I don't think so. You were on your way through it, but I don't know if you talked about an ending.
Yeah, well, we finished it a while ago, and I think, did I tell you like season 8 was kind of like the real ending of the show? Maybe I didn't talk to you about this.
What was season 8? Was Gloria still there, or had they already left by then?
Mike and Gloria had moved away. They were living next door, right? They were in the Jeffersons' house for a couple of years.
Okay.
And they were moving out to California. And that's kind of like where the season ended at the end of season 8. It's also where the creator Norman Mailer had left the show. And he wanted that, his envision for the ending was that at the beginning of the series, it was Mike and Gloria moved into the house, right? And they were together in the house. And when they eventually were going to move out, that was supposed to be the end of the series, right? That's how he always envisioned the series end. It was all in the family, right? They were all in, and then it's done when they're out. They're gone, right?
Right.
They did extend it a bit by having Mike and Gloria move into the Jeffersons next door, so they were still involved in the show. But eventually, Norman Mailer wanted to finish the show at the end of season 8, and both Rob Reiner and Sally Struthers were ready to move on to other things. But Carol O'Connor wanted to do another season, and of course, CBS wanted to do another season because the show was such a huge hit. So
Right.
they convinced Edith to stay on for another season, and that's where they did season 9, where Mike and Gloria leave, and then the little girl moves in to stay with them. But the whole season, it doesn't feel like All in the Family. It feels more like season 1 of Archie's Place, even though it's called All in the Family. They spend a lot of time in the bar. It's a lot of time with him and his friends and that, and just a lot of the scripts were a lot of like what do you call it? The sitcom cliches, like one of Archie's friends brings over his new girlfriend, and his new girlfriend is basically why am I forgetting Edith?
Gene Stapleton.
Gene Stapleton is basically Gene Stapleton in a wig with a Russian accent, and she's playing like two characters, and like, oh, you guys look a lot alike, and it's very like sitcom-y kind of stuff. It's not the social commentary that you were getting from the previous seasons. Obviously, it's because Norman Mailer had left, and they were just kind of phoning this season in. As good as Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton are, like, the writing's got to be there, kind of thing, right? So there were a few good episodes here and there, but really, at the end of season 8, I think that's where you could put the period on. And I really don't feel like watching Archie's Place. I was kind of on the fence, but I remember even as a kid not really caring for Archie's Place. So we were already.
I don't think I ever really watched it.
I did. Well, whoever syndicated the show, when we would watch it, they would actually air All in the Family, and then they would go into Archie's Place in the same time slot, and they would air all of Archie's Place and then go back to All in the Family. Like, they made it like it was all one show. So I remember as a kid, like, you turn it on and it'd be, oh, we're still in Archie's Place. You're waiting for All in the Family to come back. Especially as a kid, like, my favorite character was Edith, because Edith is very cartoony and animated, and you don't really have anything like that in Archie's Place that I remember anyways. So we finished off All in the Family. Definitely recommend watching it. Definitely the 8 seasons. It still holds up. It's still a great show. Like, almost every topic that they touch on, it's still relevant to today. It's like, you can just take these things and just, like, all you gotta do is change the names. Change Richard Nixon to Donald Trump, or McGovern to Joe Biden, or Jimmy Carter to Joe Biden, or anything like that. It shows you that nothing has changed. Everything is still the same. Still having the same struggles about inflation and all that stuff. Like, the only time the show got a little weird for me, there was one episode about horse meat and how they were, because there was like the inflation problem and all that. And one of their ways of getting around the inflation problem was they were kind of promoting horse meat, like eat horse instead of, and they were all in on the horse meat except for Archie, of course, who was like, I'm not eating a horse, kind of thing. That was the only episode where it was kind of like a little weird. Like, that was a little weird stance, but the rest of it has been pretty much spot on. It is excellent. So from there, we moved on to Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I don't know if you've ever watched. I know you're a Seinfeld fan, but you never watched.
Yeah, I just don't have access. I've never. It doesn't play here.
Yeah, it's an excellent show. We wanted to rewatch it because the final, what's supposed to be the final season, is coming up very soon. Well, the final season's actually airing right now, but the finale is coming up very soon. So we've been kind of marching through that. There's only 10 episodes a season, and most of them are only a half hour. They're a full half hour because it was on HBO, but yeah, that show is still good times. That Larry David, he's found he just finds these things in everyday life that are just like, they're annoying or uncomfortable or awkward or whatever, and he just finds a way to articulate them. And it's always about there's his reaction to things, and there's other people's reactions to things, right? Like, there'll be like a little minute thing that happens, and then it's the overreaction from the other person that just makes it awkward. and then his like inability to give in or whatever that makes it even such a good show. Every episode is written he writes every episode and they've all been spot on. It's been so much fun. And it's a little weird seeing because we started watching it and then right away Richard Lewis passed away, who was a big factor on that show. So every time we watch one of these shows, someone passes away, it seems like almost immediately or while we're watching it, someone on the show is going to die. So if you're a big Hollywood star, don't recommend your show to me because bad things seem to happen when I watch your show.
The Canadian Grooves effect.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
I think so.
Yeah, we've done it's an hour and 40 minutes. That's enough. Saturday doesn't seem to be a big draw for us. We don't have anyone watching right now, but
did we lose everybody?
Yeah, maybe they'll listen later.
Oh my goodness.
The last comment we had was an hour ago. Yeah, an hour ago. But in the comments, we had Rocket Sauce, we had Steven from Cap Max Gaming, and we had the Distortion Den, my buddy Deke. That was good. That was enough. That's enough.
All right, what are you gonna do? People want to enjoy their Saturdays.
Yeah, this is our window. It's the only time we have to record. It's all good.
There you go.
I could smell some good stuff that Sarah's making upstairs. I think she's making us some ravioli. So,
oh
yeah,
wish I had some ravioli.
What do you
go for? Meat, cheese?
Oh, cheese. It's got to be cheese because Sarah can't do the beef thing. She's got to,
okay.
And they always put like some sort of braised beef in there. Even if it says pork, you got to be a little careful because they're always a little sketch. They might like skimp on the pork and add something else in there.
Yeah, I can't get ravioli here.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Last time I was in the US, I made sure that I had it just because.
Oh yeah.
A chance.
So good.
Yeah. I think I learned how to make them.
They're a pain in the ass to have to make, unless you got the machine. If you got the machine, then.
Well, yeah. It's one of those things I say, but I ain't gonna do that.
Fair enough. Okay, that's it. Thanks everybody for watching or listening, and I don't know when we'll be back because I got some events later on this month, but I think we'll be back before that FCC pod will come back because they let's see, they did a show a month ago, so we got another like 2 months to wait for another episode. Seems like, yeah.
I don't know.
All right, that's a good place to end it. All right, goodbye everybody.
Yeah, goodbye.